Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Indigo here. I hope you're having a good day or good night, whatever time it is when you watch this video. Okay, let's get into a message for the collective. I was gonna do a reading and then I was like, oh, I should do Supreme Mathematics since I haven't done it in a while. And I've been having these experiences where, I meet people, and lately I kind of just been meeting people and detaching from maybe the experience, right? And just accepting whatever part it was that I was meant to bring into a situation without being open to receiving whatever it was that I was meant to receive, because I was also brought into it to receive something. And two is the number for the month and the day, which is wisdom and the supreme mathematics. And the major arcana is the high priestess, which is the divine feminine energy. And I've come into contact with a woman who essentially kind of sort of lived the life that I desired to live. Um, Not all the way, but in terms of like having a family and being married and traveling the world with your children and your spouse and, you know, all of these things. But everything has like a give and take, right? And I find like my position in the world to be so interesting because it's like I'm bringing love into people's lives. Like I'm allowing people the experience of receiving true authentic love, right? And I in my life I've become okay with just making people happy. Like I have lived my life in a way that has just been okay with, oh, as long as everybody else is happy around me, then like I'm happy. Like it literally, like, yeah, like that is, and I never associated that with people pleasing, because in my mind that was what brought me joy. So it completely separated it from being people pleasing. Um, but for some reason, it finally hit me today that like what I desire for my life, what I want for my life, is completely different than what women have been taught to want. And it's not to say that I don't want, like, because I've always desired to have a family, like a big family, right? I've always desired to, like, be married and, like, have children, like, all that cool shit, right? But it's like, at what point did I desire to fulfill my worldly aspirations in association with my spirituality? It was almost as if like the fear of being perceived by others for who I authentically am started to like consume me in a way that made it easier for me to formulate in my mind that conforming wouldn't necessarily be conforming if I just looked at it differently. So it's like a trick of the mind, right? Because like in this world, it's all about like titles. Like yes, it's very true. It is all about titles and defining things and shit making sense, right? In the spiritual realm, it's like none of this shit really makes sense, bitch. It just is. I bought a flower home last night. Beautiful big flower, red. And I have no fucking idea where the fuck this flower is. I don't even have a memory of sitting this flower down, bitch, is in a whole nother fucking time and space and dimension. And when I think about that, I'm like, okay, so clearly I walked through some type of portal. And I'm like, okay, with 8 being the number of the year, right? And that is build and destroy in supreme mathematics. And in the major arcana, it's the strength card. And then you think about like Kamala Harris running for president, right? Having the strength, the courage, the confidence to stand up and fight to be in the position that it is that you desire and want for your life, right? It's like the divine feminine energy doesn't want to be boxed in. It's like we don't want to have to conform to the man's perspective of what we should be, because what we actually are is beyond the man's capacity to understand. It's not registered in his logical brain. And the divine feminine is very spiritual, very intuitive, very mystical, very magical, a witch if you so choose to use that word, right? Or if you know that you just are, right? Like even me, I have trouble admitting to being a witch. Like I'm a healer. Like I know how to summon spirits and ask them to do favors for me or grant wishes for people. I know how to heal people through the food that I make with the energy that I put into it and the intention. I know how to cleanse not only my physical body but my internal body and then the energy around me. Like I have this mystical magical power to myself that I shy away from allowing people to see. And maybe it's associated from past life, right? Being burned at the fucking stake. Bitch, for fucking talking to ghosts and shit, being burned at the stake and shit because bitch, you popped up and now there's fucking ghosts and shit walking around. Like, bitch, this shit wasn't happening before you got here. Like literally being murdered for making spiritual children like magical kids, like so much trauma the divine feminine has experienced, and it has in a way made her want to conform to society, to be this stomachable representation of what it means to be a leader in this lifetime. Like it's like even if Kamala Harris doesn't become president, she's still a leader within her own right. And truth be told, you don't have to have power over, you don't have to have a title in order to have power. Kamala Harris is still a movement within her own right, and she is still going to have reign over her collective. So it doesn't matter if she wins or not, right? She's still the fucking president. You feel me? It's like this deeper understanding of do I conform or do I do exactly what it is that I want? Even if on the other side of that, it's not completely logical to the human race. Like, even with me and being away from my child, as long as I've been away from my child, like, me understanding that that was for my own better benefit, to help me have time and space to heal, to help me be able to give the attention to what it is that I'm building so that I can build a stable foundation for myself and not have to be dependent on another. Okay, and it's like over time, women have had to lean on masculine to provide stability because the world didn't allow us the same opportunity. But now everything is kind of like equal opportunity. And my mind is like, what does being a leader look like while also being a wife? Like, what does being a leader look like while also being a mother? It's like the demands in the physical realm become a little less than they normally would. It's like usually the woman be in the house cooking, cleaning, taking care of children. But what if the woman's purpose is to travel or explore and speak to hundreds and thousands of people and awaken them to a deeper understanding, or, you know, be a botanist and find and discover plants and things that will help heal humanity, giving people access to actual scientific understanding and using what it is that we have around us to formulate what it is that we need. It's a very perplexing situation. I met the two sides of women who, you know, are married and who are not married but are still mothers. And I don't feel a fear from being provided for, or being like there's not a fear of like codependency. There is an acknowledgement of maybe not amounting to your fullest potential if you give your energy to something that is very demanding, right? I don't know. This is all very strange to me to be like thinking the way that I'm thinking right now because of my desires, my truest desires of really wanting. And everything happens within time. And I think that is what my brain is starting to slow down and realize. Like, hey, you have time still to do this, you have time still to do that. Like, allowing myself to be my age. I'm only 27 years old, but my mind is not 27. And it's dawned on me lately that I never actually had a childhood. I never actually experienced being a child. And that could be why like I'm so like attached to my youth. But lately I've been feeling this like this angst or this anxiety around like allowing myself to create or manifest, I should say, what I truly desire. Because what if it looks completely different than what I've been told I'm supposed to be, or what I'm supposed to have, or what I'm supposed to experience? Does that make it wrong, or does it make it right? And I keep trying to figure out what's wrong and what's right, and there really is no, there's neither. It just is. I feel like a lot of feminine energies could be like accepting that at this time. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is 3. Yeah, the Empress. With the understanding. It's like the Empress is everything. Like, you can't put the Empress in a box and just be like, all right, stay there. And like, to me, the box is the house. Like, when I hear like stay at home mom, like, it's like back in the day, like that shit sounds so cute to me. Like, yes, like stay at home mom, like I get to be at home with my children, I get to make my home, and I get to build my business. And I've spent so much time healing and being with self that like my body's like, oh, I need to get back in, I need to get back into the world. Like I need to get back into the world. I need to spread all this knowledge and all this love and all this like all this art that I'm creating. Like I need to like share this. Like I need to share this, and it's not me just wanting to share it online anymore. It's me wanting to share it like in physical reality. And it's like, and it's not to say that I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. It's just to say that when you define something that great, right? You start to only see it from that perspective, and it is so much more than what maybe you could see. So I feel like a lot of women are, especially a lot of younger women, could be looking at the lives of their mothers and then thinking about like what kind of mother, what kind of woman they want to be, an example for their children, right? It's like, what do I want to leave behind for my children? If I was responsible, if I was the only person responsible for leaving anything behind for my creation, what would it be? Yeah, it's deep. It's like, what if my child grows up and she doesn't want to be a wife? She doesn't want to be any of those things. Like, what if she wants to do exactly what I'm doing? And I could be responsible for solidifying the foundation for her to be this healer, this intuitive, highly gifted source of Christ consciousness to give love and spread peace and tranquility through the world. Like, what if that's my responsibility? Amongst other things. Like, I think trying to find or define everything and like put it into a box or a narrative to where you can relate it to other people, to where people understand it, can make your non-conformal life seem so difficult, when in reality, like, it's really not that difficult. It's really not that hard to understand. It's really not that hard to understand. I think a lot of women struggle with the feeling obligated to be a certain way or show up in a certain way. And that obligation can lead to resentment or just not feeling very good about where you've went in your life because you've lived for everybody else and you didn't really do all of what it was that you wanted to do because you were okay with being a sacrifice. I've said that on my channel multiple times, that like I'm the sacrifice and I'm okay with it. It's like I'm at that point where like I'm not okay with being the sacrifice. Like this is a new era, and actually I don't want to be the sacrifice. I don't want to be the one that sacrifices their wants and their desires for the whatever the fuck of everybody else or everything else. Like, I don't want to. I want to live. Like, I don't feel like I deserve to be sacrificed anymore. I feel like I deserve to live in however way, shape, or form it is that I want to live. And it's like being uncomfortable is the first step to initiating whatever that changes. My boobs itch. I'm so sorry. And it's like, not to say that you can't do all things. It's just like whatever you give your time and your attention to, is going to be what's going to be. And it's like if the divine keeps protecting you from something, it's with the intention to show you or allow you to find like where it is that you're really supposed to go or where it is that you're being led to. Right? And I feel like my collective is still on a journey. And there has been downtime. There's been time to recollect and there's been time to think. Because it's like once you decide to step into the role of leadership, you have to know where you're leading people to. You have to even know if you are able to lead yourself there. And for a while, like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I've been in a state of where, like, it's like, nah, like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't want to leave shit like, bitch, you leave me, like, fuck, where we going? And that lasted for, like, a split second. Because it was like, oh, I really just needed to rest, or I really just needed to get my energy back, or I really just needed to figure out how to handle these worldly things in order for me to be able to move forward. But it's like, yeah, there has been a lack of nurturing the femininity, because it's like once I start co-creating with the divine, it could potentially look different from what it is that I'm desiring to experience in the physical world at this time. And then the thought of losing or lacking can make you become complacent, because it's like, well, I don't really want to lose that. Like, oh, I may not really want to deal with that. Like, it's like being comfortable, finally finding some sense of comfort or peace, and then remembering how fucking uncomfortable you were previously, and then being completely terrified to ever be uncomfortable again. So much so that you're just like, no, I'm just gonna keep being comfortable. But then you being that divine being, understanding that that comfort isn't helping you grow and ascend, and that at some point you're gonna have to be uncomfortable again. And I think there's also comfortability with feeling. Okay, being mature enough to have these feelings and then like also vocalize and express them. And I feel like the collective is moving out of fear of vocalizing and expressing, where we're just vocalizing and expressing, and then also like nurturing our minds as we allow ourselves to actually feel for ourselves and not for other people. Right? It's like that energy of like, if it's meant to be, then it will be. And you can't rush anything. Everything is at its own timing. Right? Everything is literally at its own timing. Oh, so yeah, that was the channel message that I got. And I use myself as an example because I feel like that's always the best example to use. Like, is yourself. Like, come on, let's be real. Leading by example. This, me, object A, being example. Okay, I want to see if any cards come out though. I feel like I should use the tarot though. The tarot. The tarot. This situation is teaching you an inner lesson. Past overloved mother trying to communicate. You can trust this situation. Real love. Right? And I feel like when you experience real love, like real love never makes you choose. Real love nurtures you, and it nurtures your desires and your wants and your needs, and it pushes you in the direction in which it is that you wish to go. And I can hear the saying, or I can hear like, you found me once, you'll find me again. if you leave, I know you'll always come back. So there's something about like coming and going, coming and going. But knowing that like you will always return. And it's giving me that Walking Dead energy. Like when Michonne and Rick will always leave, like they will always come back. Like the kids always knew like, yeah, they're gonna come back. And they always came back. Like Rick came back, Michonne came back, like they always came back, right? It's like they had this destiny and they accomplished it and they always would come home. Anything that they had to go do, they always make it back home. Right? And it's like that love or just having something to live for. Right? Ten of Swords. The Hangman with the Tower. I keep saying that. It's so cold in the D. How do we supposed to keep peace? I keep singing that, okay? And like this Ten of Swords, like cold, fermented body. I don't know why, but I got like this energy of like proving people wrong. Like all the projections that people throw at you, okay, you'll never amount to this, or you'll always just be this, blah, blah, blah. I feel like you're looking at these things differently. Like you're starting to ask yourself, like, am I clinging to this thing because people tried to take it away from me, even though it's already mine? Like, am I trying to defend a spot that's already my spot? And the fact that I'm stuck in the energy of trying to defend it is affecting how I'm showing up to my job, how it is that I'm showing up to my position. Where if I just was confident in knowing that this is my position and disregarding all together what people have to say and just continue to focus on that and go down that path and knowing this is for me, that I would be more active, because this is a fire sign card, Sagittarius, but it's not active when it's the Hangman. It's like reflecting over the actions you took to get to this position. And I feel like that could be a point of reflection right now. The Tower is acknowledging all the actions that led to the Ten of Swords, the backstabbing, the betraying. Okay, and this isn't even from other people. This is you to yourself. Because like you didn't honor yourself. And it's like you gave people the sword to stab you in the back with. It's like you put too much power. You gave people your power by allowing people to identify what it was that you should do, where you should go, how you should be. Okay? Queen of Pentacles energy, very grounded. Okay? Mothering energy. Okay, Sagittarius. Some of you could be a Sagittarius, or you could be ooh, my eyes just did. I don't know what the fuck I just seen, but that shit was wild. Bro, like every time I see myself, like I'm a different being. Like I can't. Anyways, it's like maybe you feel grounded in this adventure. Like you feel grounded in knowing that life is an adventure and you're on the road to obtaining your success. It's like people think that you're trying to find where you're supposed to be, but you are where you're supposed to be. It's within your own body, within yourself, okay? I heard travel light. I just scratched out all of my deodorant from under my armpits. Pretty gross, actually. Wipe it on my leg. It's just deodorant, right? Okay, I feel like this could be love too, like, or just you falling in love. Okay, rekindling the love that you have within yourself. But then also taking a trip, a journey down a relationship, having a relationship. It's like an unconventional relationship. Everything about this relationship is so different from what a normal relationship would be. And I feel like that's what it is. Like Michonne had her missions, Rick had his missions. Sometimes those missions and paths would cross, but it's like they had their own destiny, their own like lives that they had to account for, and they always did, right? And they always did. The Ace of Swords. I don't know. I definitely do see like a lot of nature energy. Some of you could be going camping, okay, or you could just be going out into the wilderness. Okay, I'm definitely getting some like dirt sex. Like yes, like mud in between my toes, mud on my face. Like hit it from the back, hit it from the front, hit it from the side, baby. Ground yourself. Ground yourself. Ground yourself in my cervix. No. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not though, but that's literally what I see though. But it's like communication. I don't know. It's like I feel like this is a spark. And this is like the divine feminine like speaking her truth. Like what is really her love language? What is really her what is true love to her? And I feel like it's a lot to do with like being free, like free to roam, free to experience, free to adventure, free to travel. I feel like you know where home is. Like you know who is home to you. You are very much so at home within yourself. And I feel like you have this appreciation for nature and what it provides for you. And like there's a want and desire to connect with it more and experience it, even with the whole flower thing. Like this energy of fertility and cleansing and growth. Over the rainbow. Yeah, temperance. Temperance angels. Yeah, something about nature. Nature is very, very significant. Very, very significant. Yeah, with the Empress card. I feel like the angels too like are guiding you to express like this desire or this want or just this need to really connect back with nature in a like comfortable way. Okay, I feel like there's a path that leads you to some type of revelation. And this could be like a divine calling or purpose over you and someone else's life. I feel like the impact in which you and your divine counterpart, or just you and your masculine energies, right? Like this responsibility to restore this understanding of what it actually means to co create with both energies. But then also in dealing with someone else, them mirroring that back to you because they also understand that and like are on the same journey. Okay, some of you could be like traveling though and meeting different people from like many different walks of lives. And I feel like a lot of this is just centered around healing, like changing the fucking vibration wherever it is that you go. It's like the devil wants to create this conflict in thoughts or this imaginary idea of competition, right? Like, oh, if I'm not there today, then they'll fire me tomorrow type of energy. And it's like you're no longer fighting to keep a role that you know belongs to you. And it's like if something is given to somebody else, it's like, okay, well, maybe it was never for me to begin with. And the experience and the people that I met, it was really just about that alone. It had nothing to do with acquiring or maintaining some type of wow, it's crazy how that just broke off like that. That's wild. This is a dragon's head and it just broke off. Like the head of the dragon just broke off. And I don't know why in my mind I seem like somebody with the sword like cut the dragon's head off. I don't know. That's a symbolism for something. I don't know for what though, girl. Yeah, justice with the star, the Knight of Cups, the Death, and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I don't know. And I feel like this could also be like going or taking some time away from like society to just kind of exist and like attach back to your emotions. It's like maybe I need to work on my emotions. Maybe I need to work on my relationship that I have with myself and my image. And maybe I need to detach myself from the world and like those projections with the Ten of Swords. Those projections that had me in this place of not knowing how to allow myself to feel or being too scared to feel because like what if my feelings aren't accepted by the world or appreciated by the world? It's like, well, I still feel this way. I'm still having this experience. So like what are you gonna do with it? I don't know. That's the reading that I got for you, collective. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys later. Bye.